So you want to open up your own studio, rent out a suite. Well, let's talk about it. Today, I will give you everything that you need to open up and start your first studio. This is going to be for a solo artist who's looking to go on their own. So if that's you, stick around. Now you're probably thinking, who is this girl? Why are you even talking, are you qualified? Yes. I have opened up 3 studios, small studios, private suites by myself. I have gone through the entire process of licensing, permits, all that good stuff. My name is Eliani, and today I'm going to walk you through what you need before opening up your next suite. Now I'm going to be talking about a private studio, all the legal stuff that you need to properly open your tattoo studio. So let's dive right in. Now, before I get into all of this, I would like to first say that it is very important for you to have your own clientele before opening up your private studio, hence the word private. If you're going to be working by appointment only. Now, if you plan on taking walk-ins and you plan on hiring an assistant or a manager, a front desk person, that may work out for you. So I strongly recommend that you have your clientele set. If you're not getting booked up at least, I would say 2 months in advance, then exit this video right now. But if you have your own clientele, if you're pretty decent at your craft, and you're ready to go on your own, open up your own studio, you've been tattooing for a few years now, and you feel that you can do it, go for it. This is what you need. So first things first, you have to get organized. There's a lot of things that you have to do before you even get into the studio. So first things first, you at this point probably already have your tattoo artist license. That's great. Now you're going to need your tattoo establishment license. And before they give you the license, you have to go through inspection. Before you go through inspection, there are several things that you need to have in order. So the first thing that they're going to ask is biomedical waste. And that is a separate permit that you pay for on a monthly basis. Sometimes they require a deposit. It depends on the company that you're working with. And so this is going to be the company that picks up your needles every week or every month, depending on your required or desired frequency of pickup. They will require you to have that. It's just a permit that you pay for. It's usually maybe, I don't know, $35 to $40 a month, depending on your necessities, the amount of needles that you use, and the frequency of the pickups. And I will get into approximately how much money you would want to have saved up as well. Although, don't quote me for any of this entire video is based on my experience in the state that I'm in. This will be different for every county, not only state, but every county. There is a different health department assigned to it. The prices will vary, so again, do not quote me on any of this. This is only for, you can say, entertainment purposes. It'll help somebody get started, but this isn't going to apply for everyone. Now, I do have to say congratulations for clicking on this video and not doing what I did, which was I climbed up the fence. I got a bunch of scabs up at the wires because there was wires up at the top of the fence, spikes that I didn't know were there. So I climbed up, got over the spikes. I'm all scratched up. I fall face flat on the ground, and then I get attacked by a tiger. And then I finally make my way out, fight the tiger, almost lose my life doing it, and then finally made my way out. So that was my experience opening my several studios because I did not do the research like you're doing now. I wasn't a smart aleck like you are. I am now because I have the experience, but good job on taking this step. So, bio-waste. They will require that for the inspection. Usually inspection may take several weeks, several months, depending on how busy they are. So before you even start paying rent at a studio, make sure that you get the inspection set in, the bio-waste set in, all that before you start working, because legally you will not be able to work. And this will have to be under your company name. You have to open up an LLC. You can easily do that. Google it. Open my LLC, Sunbiz. You will need a fictitious name for the LLC. That's in Sunbiz if you're in Florida, but I don't know about other states. So LLC, everything is going to be under your name, so you want to make sure that you're doing everything legal, because if something goes down, that is your name now on the record. So, which I have a whole nother story for a different day. Anyways, that's for another time. This is about you and your new suite. So, bio-waste. You have your, at this point, you already have your LLC open, or S-Corp, or whatever. I'm not a tax expert, so look into that. Whatever suits you best. I did an LLC for tax filing purposes. I did an S-Corp. So what that means is that you can deduce different, you can do deductibles for different business expenses, and taxes are a little bit more manageable that way. But do your own research. So LLC, open, bio-waste, check. They usually do a contract on these, so watch out, be careful, look at that, see how long you're going to be at this place, because in my experience, I did a contract, I left the place early, and then I still had to pay the remaining balance of the bio-waste, even if I wasn't using it. So, make sure that you're going to be at a certain place for a certain time, or look into maybe a shorter contract that might be more suitable for you. So you got your company business, you got your business open, you got your bio-waste permit. Next thing that you're going to need is a business insurance. Now, the business insurance, business property insurance, I used a company called Byberg, and then they will give you a certificate of liability insurance with it as well. This can cost anywhere from, I don't know, $600 to a couple thousand, depending on where you're at. The bio-waste, like I said, is we can approximately say $40 a month. The licensing where I live was $200. That's for the inspection and the permit. And then the renewal for the artist license is $60, and I believe a new artist license is $200 as well. Yes. So you do that, you go through inspection. Now, let's talk about inspection. You're going to need, of course, at this point, you have your certificate of bloodborne and pathogens because you already have your tattoo artist license. So during inspection, they are going to ask you for, and I can't find it here. I thought I had a sample, but I guess not. A form. When you go to a tattoo shop, you have to fill out a form with all your information. And so you have to provide a sample of that form. It can be physical copy or it can be digital copy. I did everything physical. It was just easier for me and easier for them. I think they might have required me to have the physical copies, actually. I don't know. I don't remember. But I did everything physical for whatever reason. So you're going to need that form. It has to have the client's first and last name, their phone number, their email, whether they have any allergies, if they have any disease, what else? They might require you to put your EIN on there. Your EIN is your business identification number, and you're going to receive that once you open up your business online. What else? And then, of course, your business name. And it's going to require a signature of the client and your own signature. And I may be missing a few things, but for the most part, I believe that is it. And by the way, you can find all of this information that they require for the tattoo establishment license online. If you Google whatever state or county you're in, health department, tattoo establishment license or permit, they're going to give you a list of things that they require for that. So we have that, we have the inspection. During the inspection, the BioWaste is going to give you a red box with a red bag, and you're going to have to buy your needle boxes. And they do require for you to have that before the inspection as well. That's why you have to get your biomedical waste before the inspection. Now, it is going to be very savvy of you to save the receipts. The biomedical waste is going to come every single month or every week, whatever frequency you decide. And it would be best if you save the receipts, because the initial receipt, they will ask it for the inspection as well, but after that, for safety purposes, whatever, save your ass. You might want to save the receipts as well. So that's that. And then you go through inspection. During inspection also, at least in my state, my county, the floors can't be carpet. There can't be any porous surfaces. So what that means is that everything that you work on, like the tattoo chair or table, the tray, the actual artist chair, the floor, none of that can be like clothing material. Like, it has to be leather. Obviously the floor is floor. It can be wood or it can be tile or whatever else besides not carpet. The chair, leather. Everything has to be able to be wiped down. What else? Your inks. They are going to look at the expiration dates on your inks, so make sure that obviously you don't have any inks that are expired. And you're going to probably need, biomedical waste should give you this as well, but they may require you to have a separate trash bag for the very wet paper towels, things that may contain blood, ink, etc. in it. So you may be required to have your your needle box, and also a separate trash bag for your materials that you use throughout the tattoo session. And then, of course, another trash can for regular trash. You need minor consent forms. You can find these on your state or county website. And literally just Google that, tattoo minor consent form. And what this is that anybody from the age of 16 through 17, they have to have this form notarized and signed by the parent for them to be allowed to get tattooed. And this saves your ass as well, so it's very important. What else? Let's see. Biomedical waste will give you the permit that you need, and they will give you the operating plan that they will also require you. That's a given. What else? This is all biomedical waste things. You're gonna have to print out chapter 64E through 28, which is tattooing rules, laws, I guess you could, rules, there you go, rules. And you will also receive the waste bag that I was telling you about. So you're going to receive a paper that is signed, and it proves your waste bag for the paper towels that will be wet in blood, ink, etc. We already spoke about our business property insurance, and then of course your tattoo artist license. That's pretty much it. Obviously, if you go to open up a bigger studio where you have several artists in a much bigger space, you can, pay anywhere from like, I don't know, 5,000 to, I don't know, 15, 20,000. But you have to make sure that they allow tattooing, because oftentimes a lot of these places don't even allow tattooing. So before you even start doing all this, ask if that county, if that establishment, if that business allows tattooing there. Little pro tip, anywhere near a Publix, apparently, if there's a Publix Plaza and you have to see a space for rent, most of the time they don't, to not say all, but apparently they don't allow tattooing near Publix for whatever reason. So that's that. Now, as I mentioned that we will speak about how much money you would want to have saved up before doing this. Now, you want to have obviously a few months of expenses, because it may be slow when you first move. You have to get your company on Google, you have to get your company on Yelp, on all of these places, and this process takes time. So it's very important for you to have money saved up for the next few months, maybe 3 months in advance if you can. That would be great. And then I would say they usually require 1 month's deposit for suites. So between everything, you're probably looking at a couple $1,000, anywhere from $1,000 to $8,000 or more, depending on your personal bills as well. And that'll get you started in a pretty okay place. Ideally, the more that you can save, the better. Obviously, the more that you have as backup, the better. You have to pay for ads and all of these other things too, and those get pretty expensive. So to comfortably start and be good, I would say maybe just like $10,000. Again, this is going to vary by area, wherever you're at, whatever expenses you have, whatever personal expenses you have. So it's all going to vary. You have to kind of play it by eye and see what works best for you, honestly. This is a pretty solid place to start. You got your biomedical waste, you go through with an inspection, you get your permit. At this point, you've already opened your company. I would recommend a business account. That's going to be very helpful for you for taxes too. So definitely recommend a business account. Your business insurance, business property insurance, that's going to be very important. They're going to require that as well, which I mentioned. And have at least 3 months of expenses saved up just in case. Have your clientele base steady for 2-3 months if you can. And start advertising early. If you're planning on moving or whatnot, you can start advertising early, maybe letting your clients know, hey, I'm going to be located here after this point, just give them a heads up. But everything kind of, I'm not a big fan of letting people know your next move to let them know your next move. So I'm not a huge fan of letting people know like what I'm going to do next. So if you don't mind, I would recommend. But me personally, I don't know, I just like to move in silence. I think that's pretty much it. I think I mentioned everything. Do your own research. This is probably one of the most useful videos that you're going to find online. So take note. I wish I had this video before I opened up my first studio. It would have saved me so much trouble. But nonetheless, you still have to, I still had to run against the wall a few times to learn some things. So, and before you do any of this, please make sure that your art is good and that your clientele is steady. That's going to be the most important thing, because I, for example, went out on my own before my art was where it needed to be, before I had, really set and steady clientele, and I very much struggled when I didn't necessarily need to. if I would have just been a little bit more patient and waited a little longer. So keep that in mind. Also, be ready for credit card fees, expenses, end of year taxes. Those can be a couple of $1,000s too, so keep that in mind. And best of luck. I know this was helpful, so thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.